Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to look at the trailer that just came out for the remake of the film Jacob's Ladder. Now, before we get into this, the original film came out in 1990. It starred Tim Robbins, and it's basically a story about a man who. The idea is that he is living his life. He survived a grievous injury in Vietnam, and this is now, I believe it's the mid '80s, and he was supposedly uh, he supposedly survived a very bad injury that was supposed to kill him, but he's living his life now, and he starts seeing these demonic figures around him that just start popping up randomly, and we basically find out that we're not sure if he's going insane, if these things are actually real, and what's going on. So there's a lot of very provocative imagery with that film. I'm going to make some comparisons because, again, this is a remake, so we do have to kind of make comparisons to the original source material, even though it seems like they're taking this in a very different direction. But to start out, so the actor we have playing Jacob is Michael Ealy, and he basically it shows that it's revolving around him and his brother in this for whatever reason. So him and his brother are apparently both either army or I believe they're wearing army uniforms in the trailer, and his brother is played by Jesse Williams. Now. Uh, it shows that they have when they start out the trailer, there's this monologue that says, oh, you and your brother had problems, and then they go through this time frame where I think it shows one of them at the other's wedding and he punches him out, and then Jacob's brother is killed, presumably in the Iraq War, and he's supposedly dead and buried, and then he just randomly shows up. Now, this is where we kind of lose track of what's going on in the trailer, and that's the fact that in Jacob's Ladder, a lot of the stuff very early on in the film was pretty subtle. It wasn't. They weren't. They didn't ramp things up until probably the late second act into the third act, and really a lot of it was based on perception because you didn't necessarily know if you were seeing things from his perspective and he was becoming mentally deranged, schizophrenic or something, or if these things were actually happening in front of him and nobody else believed him, or if this was some elaborate hoax or something like that, and people were doing stuff to him. You really didn't know exactly what was going on. It was very disorienting. In this, it seems like they're basing most of the stuff relatively in reality, at least for the first part, because his brother has interactions with his wife, who's played by Nicole Bahari, and this is the stepping point is that she sees him, she understands that he's there, and she knows that he had died or supposedly had died, and we don't really know what's up with the brother. He says stuff like maybe I was dead or something like that. He just kind of comes out of nowhere. He has like a seizure in Jacob's house, and they put him in an ice bath. Again, I think it's kind of a callback to the ice bath from the original Jacob's Ladder, but in kind of a weirder way. But it's really, really strange the way that they kind of go about it because it seems like they're basing it more in reality and not leaving it up to the viewer to decide whether or not what they're seeing or disorienting the viewer into thinking that maybe what they're seeing is real or what they're seeing is a mental illusion or something along those lines. So they don't seem to be going with that as much. And then we go into the stuff where he starts seeing demons. Now, in Jacob's Ladder, the original, they go into the demons, or the seeing of the demons gets more and more drastic as the film gets on. Again, they start out relatively subtle. He catches a glimpse of these people that are just kind of shaking their heads back and forth very violently, so you can't really see their faces. And then it goes into some other stuff. The dance room scene is one of the more famous ones, where it looks like there's some kind of a creature raping his girlfriend, and then a horn pops out through her mouth. There's a lot of very strange things that go on in that movie that again it disorients you to a point. In this, it feels like they're going more for the shock value of like, oh hey, he looks up and he sees a demonic woman, or he sees this figure next to the train, or this or that. They show you brief glimpses of these demons that appear to be hunting him, and it's very odd because it's very on the nose. I feel like it's more on the nose than it should be, because I think what made the original Jacob's Ladder so good was that disorientation and that early form of subtlety before they kind of inaugurated you in and you found out what was going on at the end. Now I'm not going to spoil the end of the original Jacob's Ladder because it's a really good movie and you should probably go watch it, but this feels like they're kind of morphing this into a more generic type of horror movie, and I'm not really into it that much. I don't think that they show too much in the trailer necessarily. They give away the story premise, but you don't necessarily know what's going on with the brother. You don't know if there's something going on. Again, there was a subplot in the original Jacob's Ladder about some government experiment that Jacob was a part of. So I don't know, maybe they switched it up and now his brother is part of this experiment or something like that, and that's going to be a plot in this film. I don't know, but that might be maybe the direction they're going in. But the trailer doesn't give too much away, which is good for a horror trailer. You don't want to give too much away. I think they showed a little too much of the demons, but again, they don't give too much away of what their status is. Are they real? Are they figments of his imagination? What's going on? Uh, but it seems like there is a lot going on with this remake that is not necessarily in line with the original, but it doesn't necessarily take it in a different direction, which is what you should do if you're going to do a remake and you're not going to kind of play with those tones. Because if you choose to kind of do the same thing uh, that you did in the previous film, then you could wind up with something boring, or you just wind up with a retread, or it doesn't work as well. If you try to take it in an original, different direction and make it work, then a lot of the times you get a better product with a remake, and it's a very different film. Um, Now, I don't necessarily know if this film is going to be, uh, you know, anything amazing. Again, the actors seem like they're relatively solid. The interactions between him and the brother are pretty good from what I can tell with the trailer. You don't really know anything about like what their issues are with one another or what you can tell other than maybe they have a brotherly rivalry or something like that. But I'm not really interested in this. I don't know if you guys are. If you are, put your thoughts in the comments. Are you interested in this film? Are you a fan of the original? Are you planning on seeing this? It's coming out August 23rd of this year, by the way. Um, put your thoughts in the comments. I like to know what you're thinking. Uh, Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?